Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Lisa and I welcome you to this week's Stressless class. This week's topic is journaling for relaxation. For this class, you will need a journal or a few sheets of paper, as well as a writing pen. Any color will do. First up, I will guide you through an avatar writing exercise during which you will create your own avatar. And for this exercise, you will need the PDF handout, which you can download from the LEXSA online course section. If you didn't realize until now that you needed to download this PDF, do not worry. I will guide you through this exercise step by step, and you won't need the PDF. After this exercise, we will engage in different journaling tasks and word association exercises that will help you to connect with yourself and to relax more. And in between these exercises and at the end, we will also experience some periods of stillness that you can use for meditation and introspection, and which will help you and your body to relax, to calm down, and to connect with yourself on a deeper level. And now we will get started with our first writing exercise for today, which I have called Create Your Own Avatar. If you have already downloaded and printed out the template, you can work on this template and follow along with the different questions. We will go through this exercise step by step. And if you haven't downloaded the template, it's not a problem at all. I will show you each individual task of this playful exercise on screen, and you can just write down the answers in your journal or onto your sheets of paper or whichever other writing materials you have. The purpose of this exercise is to spark our imagination and to become a little bit more playful when we look at writing, not to take it too seriously, and hopefully this will set the tone for the rest of the class, and you can consider this first exercise as a warm-up. Now, those of you who have the template know that there will be 6 parts to this exercise, and we are starting here with number 1, which is choose a fantasy character, animal, or synonym that you relate to as your avatar. You can get really creative with this and choose a fantasy character. I have written down here a fairy, a warrior, unicorn, leprechaun, wizard, enchantress, mermaid, pixie, or druid. But you can also choose something completely different, something that you align with and that you can relate to, really. You can either choose a synonym character or animal that absolutely reflects your personality, or something that you resonate with, something that you are interested in. And those of you who have the template, you can write this down under question number 1, and the rest of you just write it into your journal. And if you need a moment to think about this, just pause this video. If you already had a quick association, we will move down to part 2 of this exercise, which is choose 2 descriptive adjectives for the avatar you've just chosen. And once again, I give you some examples here. It could be brave, charming, witty, intuitive, wise, temperamental, tricksy, or mysterious. And these should be descriptive adjectives that really reflect your personality as well. Choose at least 2. If you come up with more, that is completely fine. And once you have written down these 2 adjectives, we will move to part 3 of this exercise. If you need more time to decide on your adjectives, on your characteristics, you can just simply press pause. And in this third part of our exercise, we are choosing a superpower that matches your skills and talents. So we've already characterized your avatar, we have described it with 2 adjectives, and now we are going to choose some kind of talent, skill, or superpower. For example, invisibility, super strength, speed, mind reading, foresight, the ability to fly, or just simply magic. And if it's magic, perhaps you can specify what kind of magic. So simply reflect on, what is your talent? What is your skill? What is it that you bring into this world? And could it be branded as a kind of superpower? And use your imagination for this. You don't have to take it that seriously, that it has to reflect who you are. It could simply be a superpower that you would like to have. And of course, you can also choose multiple superpowers. There is no limit here to how amazing and awesome this avatar of yours can be. And once you have selected your superpower, we will move on to step number 4. Once again, if you need more time, simply press pause and resume when you're ready. In this 4th part, we will choose a fantasy storyline that resonates with your life story. So this is part of your past. Now here I have given you a few examples, which could be that you defeated a kraken, you saved the princess, found a treasure, broke a curse, traveled through time, fulfilled a prophecy, conquered a kingdom, banished a demon, subdued a dragon. Now, of course, these are just ideas, and I would like you to be creative and imaginative with what you come up with. And it will also really help if you reflect on your own life story, thinking back on the challenges that you had on your life path to this point, and find a metaphor for this life challenge. Everybody has life challenges and they are all very different. And it always depends in which light we are going to view our life challenges. For example, if somebody has been a survivor of what we would define as severe trauma or tragedy, that could be divorce, it could be being a victim of abuse, it could be losing a parent early, then perhaps your metaphor that you're choosing here will be that you survived disaster. It could also be that you have received a lot of help and support from other people. So then your metaphor would look like you perhaps got saved by the knight in shining armor, or you got taken in by a club of witches, or you received an invitation to join the fairy forest. Just be a little bit creative and do not take it too seriously. In general, it's always really helpful to look at our own story and to find ways of how to view our story in a different light, in a lighter light, in a more creative light, and to create some objectivity about your story. And translating your life story, your storyline, into a fantasy storyline also gives a little bit of respect to yourself, to what you have been through, and it allows you to experience your story in a very different way, coming to the realization that you have actually done really well up until this point. No matter what you've been through, you have done the best that you could do, and you have arrived in the here and now, in the present moment. And once we phrase our challenges in this fantasy context, we do realize that we have superpowers, that we have been able to be resilient and to still survive until this point in time. I would also like to add for any of you, and we're not going to do this in this class, but if any of you relate to this part and recognize that telling their life story in, I suppose, a fantasy way, in a very, very abstract way, in a more objective way, then this is a very, very good writing exercise for anybody who wants to go a little bit deeper into their story. I only would like to advise here that if you get very emotional during the writing of such a fantasy story, then that might not be the right exercise for you. If you are able to tell your story through fantasy language and you feel good and it really feels like a creative process and that you are able to release something, then that's a positive indicator. But if you feel like you're being pulled back into your story and it actually affects your emotional well-being, then I would not focus too much on this method of self-exploration. Then it is not the right time for you. And once you have decided here what this fantasy storyline of your avatar is that resonates with your life story, we will go to part number 5. And for those of you who want to take a little bit more time, you can pause this video. And now we are going to step 5, and we are choosing a future mission for our avatar, for what is coming. And in this fantasy context, this could be to save the world, to search for the Holy Grail, to travel to a different dimension, to find true love, to locate a rare magical object or to pass initiation, to invent time travel or to become a sorcerer or sorceress. And once again, have a think about what it is that you truly would like to accomplish moving forward in your life and how that would translate into the mission of your avatar. And this can be more than one. You can choose a few different mission goals, so to speak. And if you feel like you need a little bit more time for this, you can, once again, simply pause this video. And once you have completed this step 5 and were able to highlight your future mission as this avatar, we are going to move to step 6, the last part of this exercise, where we will write down your story the way that you have just created it. We are going to put all these different parts together, and we will start with a combination of the first 2 parts of this exercise, which is your fantasy character or avatar itself, and the 2 different adjectives or characteristics you have chosen. For some of you, it might be more. And we're going to put them together, creating a statement. For example, I am a cute and charming fairy. Or I am a brave and fearless warrior. Whatever you have chosen here, just write out this sentence by inserting your 2 adjectives and your fantasy character. And then we put a comma after this, and we will insert our superpower with who can foresee the future, or mind read, or fly, or use defensive magic. And this will be the end of the first sentence that we're going to write. And for some of you, that might look like I am a charming, seductive mermaid who can sing meant to sleep. Or I am a secretive, gifted sorceress who can manipulate the elements. So this is your very first sentence. And then we will create a second sentence that will complete our exercise, which is, I became a legend when I, and you will insert your storyline that you have created for yourself, which could be, I became a legend when I defeated a kraken and conquered the kingdom, or saved the princess and subdued the dragon. So just insert your storyline as you have written it down previously. And if you feel a burst of creativity, you can certainly follow this and come up with something different. There are no restrictions here of what you can write or do in this exercise. But for those of you who are still following along, you will finish this second sentence with, and my future mission is to, and then you will insert your mission that you have outlined and written down before. And this could look like, I became a legend when I defeated the dragon, and my future mission is to travel to a different dimension and find true love, or whatever else you have created here. And once you have written out these two sentences, once you've finished it, it is really worthwhile to read this out to yourself out loud. And I will give you a moment to do that, starting now. Wonderful. And if anybody wishes to continue this story and write about how you will accomplish your future mission still using this fantasy language, you're most welcome to do so and pause this video or continue this story at a later time. It is such a fun exercise, and it is also really important to bring fun into journaling and into writing. Now, journaling is not just about creative writing, it is about self-exploration, about gaining insights into yourself, and about very gentle self-expression. So what it is really is that we are going on an inner journey and using language as a very beautiful way to do this. When it comes to journaling, it is really important to allow yourself to follow your intuition, to follow your associations, and to refrain from censoring what you write. And to dive deeper into journaling, we will continue with a word association exercise, which means that we will start with one word and then add another word and another word and follow, let's say, a chain of associations. And the word that we're going to start with is me. And then I would like you to choose a word that you associate with the word me. And from this next word that you are choosing, you will think of another word that you associate with the word you've chosen. And I will give you an example of this exercise here. We will start with me, and this person here has created a chain of associations beginning with me, human, kindness, creativity, imagination, dreaming, escape, suffering, help, knowledge, compassion, feeling, despair, closeness, avoidance, shadow, liberation, freedom, illusion. And perhaps you've noticed as I'm reading this, we are perceiving it almost like a story. And now take out your journals to begin this word association exercise, starting with the word me. And from there, you can create at least 20 or 30 words of association. If you like to create more, that's completely fine. And really follow the flow. Don't censor yourself. Just go with the first word that comes into your head. And focusing on this word that just popped in, you also follow your next association going with the first impulse of what the next word is. So work with this exercise fairly quickly. You don't need to rush, but do not overthink it. And I will give you about a minute or so to complete this exercise. And come to an end. If you would like a little bit more time with this part, just please press pause and resume when you're ready. And for those of you who are finished with this word association exercise, I would like to ask you to read this word association exercise out to yourself. If you are able to make noise where you are right now, please read it out aloud. And if you cannot make any noise where you are right now, I will ask you to silently, with your powers of concentration, focus on each of the words for 2 seconds, step by step, until you've reached the last word. And whether you're speaking this aloud or whether you're doing it silently, I would like you to notice and to perceive how you're feeling on this word journey, how you're feeling while you're reading and focusing on these words, and how you're feeling afterwards. And if there are any insights that you have gained about what is going on in your own subconscious mind, what is going on inside yourself, if you can in any way relate to the different words that you've chosen for this episode in your life. And I will give you, for this process, another minute. Beautiful. And now we are going to engage in a bigger two-part journaling exercise, which you can write in your journal or on a sheet of paper. But please make sure that you have enough material to write on, because this will be a longer exercise. In the first part of this exercise, we will explore how your life feels like right now, how your life feels like to you. And for this writing exercise, you will just write about how your life feels like to you as comes to mind without censorship, being honest with yourself, simply following your association and your imagination. And I also can give you a little bit of help here. It is often useful to start with life feels like and to find metaphors that match the feeling in your life. For example, somebody whose life feels very turbulent would write, life feels like an avalanche. Somebody who has a very peaceful life right now and is very calm would perhaps say life feels like a quiet pond, or a blessing, which expresses appreciation for life. Or if life is very dynamic, it could feel like a wild adventure. And somebody who might feel a little bit downcast or even depressed, life could feel like a coal mine or a burden. So life feels like is a really good tool to use if you would like to use it. Or you can also venture in life feels, which engages the use of adjectives. So life could feel precious, exciting, energizing, lonely, dangerous, ecstatic, mysterious, free, or any other associations you may have. So if anybody struggles with freely writing about how life feels like for you right now, you can either use life feels like and look for metaphors, or life feels and look for adjectives that characterize the mood of your life. And I will give you about 10 minutes of time for this writing exercise, so you can really, really dive deeply into this way of self-reflection. And while you're writing, always notice how you're feeling. And now come to an end with your writing exercise. If you haven't done so, please pause. And anybody who's finished, just put down your pen for a moment and spend a little time in silence, simply observing what is happening within yourself, what is happening within your body, within your mind, within your emotional body, simply observing how you're feeling. And I will give you a few minutes for this silence part, this meditation part. And now returning back into the present moment, and once again picking up your pen and your journal or your sheets of paper. And we are going to focus on the second part of this exercise, which is we will journal about how we want life to feel like. And it is really helpful for this exercise to begin with the exploration of one main quality that you would like to incorporate into your life, that your life lacks right now, or that you have perhaps neglected in the past. And this quality, this word that you can choose to begin for this writing exercise could be any of these I have listed here: peace, joy, bliss, comfort, freedom, relaxation, grace, calm, light, fun, inspiration, creativity, fulfillment, heart connection, kindness, love, strength, respect, or empowerment. And of course, there are many more. And the main question to ask yourself is, which quality is my life lacking? And how would I like my life to feel like? And please approach this exercise from the feeling perspective rather than what you would like to happen in your life. Approach it from the way how you would your life to feel. What is the quality, the essence of your life that you would like to have? the internal experience rather than an external manifestation of things. So this is a journaling exercise very much targeted at our internal experience. So you can begin with one of these qualities or words, or if you're an enthusiastic freestyle writer, you can disregard my suggestion here and completely follow your intuition. And for everyone else, begin with one of these qualities, what these qualities feel like, how life would be if these qualities would be in it, whatever feels the easiest to you. There is no right or wrong with journaling practice. And for this second part of the exercise, I will give you again 10 minutes. And afterwards, I will once again prompt you to partake in a period of silent meditation. But I will let you know about this again at the end of this exercise. So please begin. How do you want life to feel? And now come to an end with this writing exercise. I hope you have gained some insight. And put down your pen and your journal and close your eyes. And allow yourself to go inwards within yourself, to become more silent, and to allow this process that we have just done to integrate within yourself. Allow these stimulants to be processed by your nervous system, trusting that your explorations will bear fruit within yourself and that there is nothing that you consciously need to do except for allowing your body, your mind, your heart, and your intuition to connect, to network, to balance, and to integrate. And stay in this observing mode for a few minutes until you hear the gong at the end. And if any of you would like to continue sitting after the gong, you can certainly do so.